This woman never imagined today's client was her favorite idol. She thought scenes like this only existed in romance dramas, but happiness suddenly arrived far faster than she expected. To save money for concerts, Jenny started part-time housekeeping. Unexpectedly, her very first job was serving her idol, but meeting him in person left her completely stunned. On stage, he was sexy and wild, the perfect idol. Off stage, however, he was gloomy, quiet, and extremely introverted. For a moment, Jenny found that hard to accept. Jack sincerely apologized for how distant he seemed earlier. Recently, work overwhelmed him, leaving his mental state unstable. Only then did he realize pleasing fans was exhausting. Before she noticed, Jenny had worked there for days. One day, Jack planned to take casual selfies for fans. Seeing the results, Jenny honestly could not stand them. As his top fan, she knew what fans wanted. With one shot, she instantly captured the perfect photo. Jack was deeply moved and smiled to thank her. That smile unexpectedly pierced straight into Jenny's heart. Jack thought his smile looked awkward or strange. Then they stood too close and accidentally fell together. Suddenly, Jack's manager walked in and witnessed everything. This girl actually confessed to a toy cat, then immediately laughed at her own words. It turned out Jenny had liked Jack for a long time. Whenever she wanted to confess to him, the words always stuck in her throat. That day, their friends had set the perfect mood. Jack offered to walk Jenny home alone. Jenny instantly became shy, her heart filled with the urge to confess. But even until they reached her stop, she still couldn't say a word, because she had luggage with her. Jack decided to walk her all the way to her door. On the way, Jenny confessed to Jack countless times in her heart, yet she still couldn't speak the words aloud. When they arrived at her home, Jack was about to leave, but the sunset caught his attention. Jenny suddenly recalled everything, how Jack had always silently supported her. Being with him truly made her happy. As Jack was about to head home, she couldn't help but grab his hand. Her words got tangled. She meant to say, "Please go out with me," but it came out as, "Please take a photo with me." Jenny was thrilled. For her, this felt just like a real confession. Jack agreed, which made her even happier. They took some really nice photos together, but Jenny was standing too close. Jack suddenly felt shy as he struggled to act normal. Jenny accidentally flung the phone away. This boy, every day after school, this boy secretly follows his girlfriend. He records her every move and covers his room with her photos. He truly loves Jenny so much that he listens to her voice non-stop. His headphones play her voice 24 hours every single day, but strangely, when Jack stands in front of her, he suddenly feels like a completely different person. Once Jenny kindly invites him to walk home together, but Jack becomes unusually irritated and speaks to her very harshly. He personally drives Jenny away with his words, and yet the next moment, he secretly follows right behind her. Then he takes countless photos of her. A friend asks him why he never walks home with his girlfriend. Jack explains whenever he is with Jenny, he becomes extremely irritated and cannot stay calm. So instead, he hides far away and takes photos, then goes home and slowly admires them. The next day during break, Jenny shows him her animal drawings. Jack immediately acts completely uninterested, but when no one is around, he quietly takes the drawing away. He always does this, showing Jenny only his worst side. That day, Jenny talks to Jack like usual, but this time Jack says even harsher things. This man has an extreme case of obsessive-compulsive disorder. He cannot tolerate anything dirty around him. Even during soccer practice, he keeps washing his hands again and again. This man's name is Jack. He avoids any physical contact with others. Even his towel is always stored separately. Someone this obsessively clean suddenly notices something feels off. He realizes people around him are secretly watching his every move. When Jack goes to shower, Mike suddenly picks up his towel and smells it. But instead of disgust, Mike looks like he enjoys it. After practice, Mike secretly posts about the towel online, and that post spreads quickly through the whole team. The next day, Jack simply wipes sweat with his towel. Suddenly, every pair of eyes locks onto that towel. Soon, someone gets injured on purpose and casually uses Jack's towel to wipe sweat. The moment he smells it, he completely freezes. Then he falls in love with that scent. Others see his reaction and start copying him. They even discuss that strange smell in private. However, all of this is overheard by the team captain Jess. He feels extremely uncomfortable. This behavior crosses his personal line.
The girl never expected that the boy she had a crush on had photos of another girl on his phone. This sparked her curiosity. So Amy quickly snapped a photo of herself and sent it to Jack. Without hesitation, Jack deleted it. Amy was furious. Just then, Lena walked in with a pumpkin, telling Amy Halloween was just around the corner. Amy suddenly had an idea. She decided to throw a party. She announced, this time, she would make Jack set her photo as his wallpaper. Amy then tried on different outfits, unsure of what style Jack would like, so she secretly followed him to figure out his taste in clothes. After seeing what Jack picked, Amy quickly ran over while he was away. But to her surprise, the outfit Jack chose was ridiculous, but she didn't hesitate. She tried it on anyway. When she sent the photo to Jack, she suddenly felt incredibly shy. After seeing Amy's photo, Jack couldn't take his eyes off it. Just then, Amy found Jack. Amy quickly explained. She sent the wrong photo. She was about to grab her phone back, but saw Jack scream. Amy froze, awkwardly handing him the phone. Then, she silently turned and walked away. This girl is strange. She gets the urge to use the bathroom whenever she sees a guy. One day, Jack found Amy outside the princess's room. He was about to ask her what she was doing when Amy suddenly screamed. She knocked Jack over by accident. Amy kept trembling, and the princess heard the noise and rushed out, throwing Amy into the bathroom. Turns out, Amy is the princess's friend. She can't hear men speak, or she uncontrollably needs to go to the bathroom. Then, the guy Amy liked showed up. Seeing him made Amy even more nervous. She ran away as fast as she could. Mark thought he scared Amy. Amy felt really bad. She drank some juice and tried to find Mark, but the more she ran, the weaker she got, until she collapsed. By chance, Mark passed by. He rushed over to her. Amy grabbed his hand, not wanting him to leave. Jack stayed behind. She started acting cute with Mark. Mark asked, "Why are you scared of me?" But Amy had already fallen asleep. Looking at her cute face, Mark gently picked her up and took her back to her room. The next day, Amy learned everything that happened. When she saw him again, she became incredibly nervous. Mark thought she was still scared of him, so he quietly walked away. Amy was stunned. The man couldn't believe it. The woman in front of him was his senior at work, and now, she had turned into a cat. Mark couldn't resist reaching out to pet Amy. Then, Amy leaned against his hand. Mark got so excited, he passed out. Then, Amy actually licked Mark's face. Mark quickly stopped her in shock, but Amy wanted to continue. Mark woke up from his dream, only to find that Amy had the same dream. She leaned beside him. When Mark pet her head, she felt incredibly comfortable, cuddling up to Mark. Suddenly, Amy woke up. The next day, Mark's sister noticed something was off. She started questioning him. If you saw 3 animals on the street, which one would you pet? When he saw a cat, Mark immediately thought of Amy, and chose the cat without hesitation. Mark's sister instantly understood. Mark thought of the dream from last night, and his face turned red. The next day, Mark and Amy agreed to meet up. Mark's sister secretly observed them. Amy wore a cute outfit, and when they met, Amy immediately remembered the dream from last night. Mark also remembered the dream, and they both felt embarrassed. Mark's sister could tell. Amy was exactly the type of girl Mark liked. The girl in front of her was in a rush to find a bathroom, but Amy couldn't find one. After drinking too much, she just couldn't hold it anymore. Suddenly, she saw a window outside, and when she jumped, she realized it led straight to the bathroom. As she landed, she realized she couldn't hold it any longer, so she rushed in the opposite direction, and finally sighed in relief. But then, she realized something was wrong. She had barged into the men's restroom. Awkwardness hit instantly. Just then, someone walked in. Amy heard the noise and froze, hiding quickly. When the person left, Amy hurried out to avoid running into anyone at the door, but just as she was about to leave, someone else walked in. Amy rushed to hide again. Luckily, she noticed a pile of tools behind her. An idea struck her, to place a cleaning sign at the door. Next, Amy looked out the window, and had another brilliant idea. She threw a colorful ball into the tool room. The cat immediately ran toward it, and students outside stopped to watch. Taking advantage of the distraction, Amy wasted no time and jumped out the window, but she got stuck. After a brief struggle, she finally escaped, but the situation was super awkward. This girl had a motorcycle that could travel freely between different worlds, and the best part was, the use of this bike wasn't limited by time or location. To make the most of it, Mary decided to bring her its products, and sell them in the other world. But before she could do that, and she needed to ensure her safety, Mary first found a mercenary company, to learn how to use different firearms. When Mary finally arrived at the mercenary company, the guards stopped her at the gate. Without hesitation, Mary pulled out a stack of cash. The guard, seeing the money, immediately took her to meet the company's leader, Jack. Mary briefly explained why she was there, and handed Jack a detailed list. The list listed all the weapons she wanted to learn about. For Jack, as long as the money was right, learning anything was no problem. With safety out of the way, it was time to choose and price her goods. Mary didn't plan on selling her goods at a high price. Once her preparations were complete, Mary hopped on her motorcycle, and was in the other world in just a second. But she ran into some adventurers, so she had to try again. This time, she teleported directly near the Count's castle, but she quickly realized that normal people couldn't enter the castle. The boy never expected, after turning into a girl, he would become so shy. Turns out, a few days ago, Jack's sister, Mary, gave him a drink, and he turned into a girl. Since that day, Jack has been adjusting to his new identity, from standing to sitting differently. One day, Jack was lying on his bed, and suddenly felt a stomachache. Mary quickly checked on him, but found nothing wrong. Then, Jack said he needed to go to the bathroom. Once inside, he discovered something surprising. Turns out, he wasn't sick. Mary realized. She grabbed a hot water bottle, and finally understood what was going on. The next day, when Jack went to the bathroom, he suddenly saw a new girl in the house. He quickly closed the door, but Amy came out. It turns out, Amy is Mary's friend. She thought Jack was Mary's sister, not knowing Jack was actually Mary's brother. They decided to go to the movies together, but after drinking too much milk tea, Jack couldn't hold it in, and rushed to the bathroom. Unexpectedly, the women's bathroom had a long line. Jack had no choice but to wait. Seeing Jack hadn't returned, Amy went to look for him, and witnessed an awkward scene. The girl, in her attempt to catch a kitten, jumped into the bushes and got stuck. Amy exposed herself. Jack saw it and, without thinking, slapped Amy, then hurriedly tried to pull her out. At that moment, a passerby saw them, mistaking Jack for the bad guy, and scared them both off. Later that day, Jack encountered a kitten on the street, and Amy happened to see it. As the kitten scratched Jack, Amy walked over, asking what had happened. Jack explained. He liked cats, but they didn't let him touch them. Amy went up to pet the kitten, and Jack envied her. Just then, a bike passed by, scaring the kitten away. Jack was disappointed. Amy decided to go after the kitten, but instead of catching it, she got stuck in the bushes herself. Jack rushed over, pulled Amy out again, but another passerby saw, leaving Jack feeling even more awkward. The next day, Amy took Jack to a cat cafe, so Amy patiently taught him. Jack got the hang of it, and he was completely healed. Then, Jack mimicked the kitten's pose, and when Amy saw him, she sneakily walked behind him, stepping on his foot. Jack immediately jumped, and Amy watched him with a mischievous smile. The staff member saw this, speechless. The girl never expected her fiancé's mom would be so young. Not only does she love sweets, her personality is so cheerful. Turns out, when Jenny turned 16, she was told she had an arranged fiancé and a very short sister-in-law. Jenny was shocked. Jack had been her childhood friend, but Jenny couldn't remember him at all. Then one day, Jack's mom came to visit from the countryside. When she saw the dessert shop, she instantly stopped and started enjoying some delicious sweets. Then Mary bought a lot of desserts, but got lost on the way home. She bumped into Jenny. Mary asked Jenny for directions, and Jenny offered to take her home. Jenny looked at Mary, thinking she must be a rich young lady, but when she walked Mary to the door, she found Jack standing there, and the person in front of her was Jack's mom. Jenny froze in shock. After learning she was her fiancé's mom, Jenny became nervous, but what she didn't expect was, Mary's personality was so friendly. After Mary explained, Jenny understood Jack's family situation. Turns out, everyone in their family was special. Jack's sister was short, Mary was very young, and Jack was tall. But when Mary found out, Jack finally had a girlfriend, she was overjoyed. This guy is actually wearing a skirt and striking a seductive pose. That day, suddenly, David asked, "What do you think about wearing skirts?" Sam replied, "Guess we'll never wear skirts in our lifetime." They even started debating whether girls feel cold in skirts. To solve the mystery, David suggested they try on Jack's sister's skirt. Jack immediately refused, but the next moment, Sam quickly brought out Jack's sister's skirt. Before Jack could react, Sam pulled out a mini version. Then David and Sam started trying on the skirts, but they tried putting them on from the top, and the skirt got stuck at their shoulders. Sam realized something was off, and decided to start from the bottom. Then he asked, "What about leg hair?" To avoid embarrassment, they decided to each go into a room to try them on. Jack was still unsure, wondering if he should try it too. But when his friends came out one by one, only Jack was wearing the skirt. Realizing he was the only one in a skirt, he quickly turned around. However, his friends started complimenting him, and Jack began to relax, striking different poses. He even agreed to let them keep helping him style it. Just then, Jack's sister came home. The awkward scene lasted forever.
This boy had been following the girl for days. Every day, he stared at her on the train. But Carl wasn't a bad person. He just had severe obsessive-compulsive disorder. He noticed a black mole on Lena's neck with a hair growing from it, which he couldn't tolerate. Carl wanted to tell Lena, but he never had the courage. Even when she got off the train, he still didn't speak up. The next day, Carl saw Lena again. His OCD couldn't handle it any longer. He decided no matter what, today, he would tell her. Carl slowly approached Lena, but just as he opened his mouth, Lena got off the train. So Carl ran after her, pointed at her neck and told her about the mole's hair. Lena just blushed, thinking Carl was using a cheesy pickup line. The next day, a disappointed Carl sat alone on the lawn reading. Suddenly, a girl appeared. The wind blew papers from her bag. She tried to pick them up, but accidentally fell. Carl saw her hurt herself and reached for a bandage, but she already had one. She struggled to open it, but the tape wouldn't budge. Frustrated, she gave up and tried to drink some water, but she choked before a sip. Carl wanted to laugh, but couldn't make her embarrassed.
This boy is unbelievably unlucky. Every day, he gets hurt, and his body is always covered in bandages. The class president gets curious, and thinks he's being bullied. So, following her friend Jenny's suggestion, they decide to track Jack after school. But what they find shocks them. Jack's injuries aren't from bullying at all. They're just accidents. After realizing the truth, as they're about to leave, Jenny turns around and bam. Jenny's startled. Jack says he thought someone was following him. Jenny quickly apologizes, explaining that she was worried about him. But Jack just thinks Jenny's a really kind person. From that day on, they get closer. One day at lunch, while eating in the hallway, Jack takes a bite. But then wham, an album falls right on his head. Thankfully, Jack gets knocked out cold. But the next day, Jack doesn't show up to school. She heads to the office, and overhears the teachers talking, finding out that Jack's in the hospital. She rushes to the hospital, and as she's about to ask the doctor where Jack is, she looks up and sees him. Jenny asks what happened, and Jack explains. He got hit by a truck, then he ran too fast, and crashed, he ran right into a wall.